What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Obviously, Saturday night, we've got the main event, a few main events, Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios, but in this one, we're going to talk about the main event over here in the United Kingdom, Wembley Stadium, which is between Dynamite Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk, or should I say Alexander Usyk and Dynamite Daniel Dubois. But either way you put it, we've got the undisputed heavyweight title on the line, all four belts on the line. So heavyweight supremacy is on the line this Saturday evening coming up over here, London, United Kingdom. So in this one, I'm just going to talk about some of the things which I believe could be keys to victory for Alexander Usyk if he should win on Saturday evening. Now, Saturday evening, we know Usyk is the favourite, and that's obviously because last time these two guys fought, Alexander Usyk won pretty much the majority of the rounds, nearly every round pretty much, and he was able to drop Daniel Dubois with a right jab, and Dubois pretty much stayed down. He rose to his feet, but it was a count of 10. So Usyk won the last one by stoppage. So obviously going into this, he's going to be the big favourite, regardless of, irrespective of how Daniel Dubois improved. Usyk is going to be the favourite going into this, just based on the data from the last matchups and the fact that Usyk hasn't really lost a step. He's been dominant over Fury. So anyway, so here are some things that I believe could be keys to victory for Usyk. First of all, I think the obvious one that everyone should know about is the lead hand. Using that lead hand of his, firstly, as a jab, using a solid jab, jab to the body, jab to the head, and also using it as kind of a wand, as he does against all his opponents, moving that lead hand up and down, and that lead hand can sort of stop guys from punching, and with the rest of the movements that Usyk does, he can use that lead hand to kind of confuse Daniel Dubois, to kind of make Daniel Dubois hesitate to do anything, to make Daniel Dubois kind of hesitate rather than coming in and committing, because he knows if he comes in there's a counter coming. So I think the lead hand is going to be a key weapon for Usyk as kind of a one to sort of distract Daniel Dubois, and also of course as that right jab, he's got to get on the jab and make sure he's dominating and winning the battle of the jabs against Daniel Dubois, not giving Dubois any confidence, because if you give Daniel Dubois confidence, obviously that boosts him up to, that gives him, that mental ascent and gives him the sort of thing that he's got a chance in this fight. So you've got to dominate with the lead hand, with the jab, right jab. Also, another thing that I think Usyk should do and probably will do is feinting, because I think feinting is something that is really helps the game of Usyk. And if he can feint and get Daniel Dubois to think he's going to punch when he's not, use the feint to then get Daniel Dubois to make a move or get Daniel Dubois to react. When you feint, Daniel Dubois reacts, Usyk counters, and I think that feinting is going to be a very, that's a very important element, and that's something Usyk has got to use to his advantage. He's got to feint, fake like he's going to punch, then counter off of the reaction of Daniel Dubois. So feinting and regular feinting, which is something Usyk employs anyway, but that's something I think can be a key to victory for him, that feinting. Also, another thing that Usyk does well, and he did well in the last fight, is the in and out movement. So making sure that, whatever's going on in the fight, he's always moving. He's always in, out, in, out. You get in, do your damage, move out. And he's got to do that in and out movement and side to side movement, because all that movement Usyk does is what kind of confuses opponents. It makes them hesitant. It makes them overthink things. And, that movement, he can do it all night for 12 rounds. So I think movement is going to be key for Alexander Usyk. Getting in, doing damage, feinting, moving side to side, making sure that he's never sort of in one spot, making sure that he never allows Daniel Dubois the opportunity to plant his feet and land punches, because he's too busy sort of trying to follow Usyk around, and Usyk is never sort of static in one place where Daniel Dubois can plant his feet and land power shots. So I think movement, side to side, in and out, that's going to be important. That's going to be key for Usyk. And if he employs movement as he does in most of his fights, then that's going to be a key to success for him. Also, another thing related to movement is going to be angles, and also related to angles, punches and bunches. So I think Usyk has got to make sure that he's never really coming into Daniel Dubois in straight lines. Make sure that he's not sort of moving in straight lines, but it's at angles. And, you know, he's very good at this, where he can jab and he can step to the side, hit you with the left hand from the other side. So I think punching from different angles, making sure he's using a movement, using his feet to get into Daniel Dubois at various different angles, never coming the same way twice, never coming straight lines, but using your feet, moving in and out, feinting, using those angles, attacking Daniel Dubois from various angles. I think that will be very effective. And when he punches Alexander Usyk, it's got to be, as it normally is with him, punches in bunches, combinations of punches, because Daniel Dubois is a very good puncher. He's a very good fighter, but one of his weaknesses is his defense. And Daniel Dubois is one of those fighters that's quite stiff and quite upright in terms of how he stands. He doesn't really move his head. So for Daniel Dubois, he's got to block shots, but he doesn't really move his head, and he doesn't really defend himself all that well. So I think if you're Usyk in this fight, you've got to use those angles, because you know that, you know, once you're coming at these angles, Dubois is quite upright, so he probably won't be able to deal with Usyk coming at these various angles, because he doesn't really move his head very well or anything. He's not really much of a mover, Dubois. He's quite stiff and quite upright, so Usyk can sort of take advantage of that and use those angles and combinations to get at Dubois from various places, and never sort of stand still so that Dubois can hit him. And also, the last thing I think is that a big thing about this fight going into it has been about the body shots and the low blow controversy, so they call it. And I think for Usyk, another thing he can do is go to Daniel Dubois' body. You know, they'll know obviously that Dubois is going to be looking to go to his body. He's going to be looking to hurt him downstairs. So one thing Usyk could do is start attacking Daniel Dubois to the body from early in the fight. Surprise him with that, because Dubois and his team, they might not be expecting Usyk to go downstairs. They might expect him to do exactly same as the first time and be vulnerable to the body. But Usyk can sort of, you know, throw the apple cart up in the air, or whatever they call it, upset the apple cart or whatever it is, and go to Dubois' body and work away at his body, try and hurt Dubois to the body and see how Dubois likes it downstairs. That could be another sort of key to victory for Usyk. But anyway, these are just a couple of my thoughts, a couple of things which I think would be positives for Alexander Usyk, and ways in which he could, you know, keys to victory for him. Let me know what you think about this, what you think about these keys to victory in the comment section below. And until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.